It's going to be a short stay outside, but sort of a long travel for a short meeting outside. A day and a half important meeting that is taking place in Washington, in fact in the White House, where leaders of the Pacific Island Forum Nations are meeting President Biden for the second time in Washington, and this time the meeting will be held at White House. For Papua New Guinea, President Biden would have arrived here when we were scheduled to host him. Unfortunately, due to the issues he had back in the US, he could not have come over. He sent Secretary of State, Secretary Blinken. And so he's trying to organize a bilateral on the side of the main PIF meeting. It's important head of state, head of government meetings that Prime Minister Papua New Guinea was invited. As head of government, we could not avoid these sort of international engagements. I just want to inform the country through this important press occasion. USA is not any other ordinary nation. A strong, important partner nation to Papua New Guinea for so long. But recently, under our current coalition's watch, we have stepped up relationship with all nations in our own peculiar bilateral aspects. For USA, we have stepped up not just the security aspect of our relationship, but more importantly, a greater focus on commerce, trade, especially in the area of manufacturing. In case Papua New Guinea is not yet aware, two of US's biggest company, number one in ExxonMobil, the number one US conglomerate is in Papua New Guinea, and secondly, lately with Newmont's acquisition of Newcrest asset. Newmont is world's biggest gold company, and Newmont is big, just like ExxonMobil is. Newmont is big in the mining space. It's a big USA conglomerate. There are two big US companies already in country, but our greater interest as a country is to not just work the mining and petroleum space. We want to go into technology, we want to go into manufacturing, especially manufacturing of our marine resources, as well as our agriculture potentials we have in our country. So we have a targeted approach in our engagements with USA. In this month, there's a team from US Defense as well as US Commerce. They are visiting us, but in my engagements with the US government, more importantly with the White House, we hope to rally up more of this business, manufacturing exchange between Papua New Guinea business and USA business. And so these are the reasons why some of these contacts are made at the highest. We make these contacts at government to government, but more importantly below the head of government level, respective departments, agencies and businesses get to flourish and make sure the residual connectivities are made for business to be entrenched. So part of my sleepless visits to all big economies, and I just want to inform the nation, contrary to what some may think, we run around with little hours of sleep, making this context so that PNG is still maintaining the registry of these nations as a nation of not just government to government and political relationships, but more importantly, an important nation that can have business to business relation and people to people. Talk about people to people, we have started up sending Papua New Guineans to study in USA. That's a big space we're opening up. We want to also send more Papua New Guineans to study in US, and not just study, just like we've opened up engagements with Australia, where Papua New Guineans are now going to Australia on a special visa to work in Australia. We want to open up that market also for Papua New Guineans to study and find employment in USA. And so your head of government is not wasting time. We're making these connectivities to ensure Papua New Guinea and Papua New Guinea's interests flourish under ramped up bilaterals we establishing with all our major partner governments abroad. So I just want to inform everyone, I'll be stepping up. The leader of URP, our longest serving minister, since 2002 will be holding the fort as our acting Prime Minister. Deputy Prime Minister is also out of town. In fact, as I speak today, he's stepping onto the podium to address the United Nations. And some may ask why him there and then I'm traveling. Leadership is not only about one person. Leadership is about delegation, sharing opportunities for other leaders to also grow in the comfort of being exposed internationally, as well as carry the burden of country, international as well as local. And so whilst me and Deputy Prime Minister is out of town and out of country, yours truly, the Honourable William Duma, with all cabinet, will be holding the fort. When Prime Minister travels, he doesn't take with me the entire machinery of government. Machinery of government remains, and acting Prime Minister is in office. The country is still functional at the elected leadership level, as well as still functional at the public service and bureaucracy. So government still remains. Functionality of government is still running its course. It's just only one person is out there doing work for our country. So I just want to assure everyone, Minister Duma will ensure government's functionality in the absence of myself and Deputy Prime Minister is satisfactorily handled. I will return at the very earliest. It's just a day meeting on Monday, and Tuesday midday, right after the last meeting is concluded, I will then return on a return flight. And so more time traveling, but 1.5 days at work in Washington for our country.